one of the things we're doing now is sampling right across New South Wales and up into Queensland and into Victoria to get really good collections of these species so we can test them, use the genomics tools, use the genetics to understand them better so that we can then put together plantations that are what we call seed orchards that produce more likely to produce resistant seeds so that we can then get that out there and plant it back into the environment. And then you can see the sort of work that you have to go through in order to be able to do this, to test them, to use the information and the technology so that you have a better chance. It's amazing experiments, but they're great in the way that you can adapt them so that there are opportunities to test all sorts of different characters and all sorts of different attributes that you want to use. And as you can see, we can get to the point where we're able to actually use the tools to be able to pick this one's no good, we'll take it out of the program, this one's great, and this is a good opportunity for us to then be able to supplement the population so that we have a better chance to do it. And one of the great things about having a garden like Mount Annan, where we've got 416 hectares of land and a lot of it still needing to be planted up, is that we can do these experiments in the field, we can grow them up, use them to produce seed that'll be more genetically resistant to the disease, and then get that seed back out into the community. It's a fantastic opportunity to do that. Excellent. We have a research centre for ecosystem resilience, which is really focused on this sort of genomics tool. I think we're up to well over 300 species now that we've done the genomics on across the whole of the broad population. So it's a huge amount of information. And these are the species that are all the most important for restoration processes. They're the species that are used most commonly for restoring ecosystems, for planting up new plants. A strong focus on species that are important for koalas, so understanding the genetics and the genomics so that we can then plant resilient koala habitat, where not only will it feed the koalas, but the plants are more likely to be able to cross with them, produce fertile offspring so that we can get a lot more impact that way from the point of view. Really important for threatened species management, because if you've got a limited genetic pool, you want to make sure that when you do plant them, you're using every possible genetic individual that you can so that you get a better chance for them to be able to be resilient, to adapt, be able to be adaptive to change, adaptive to disease, adaptive to climate change. I'll finish up with a few comments, I suppose, about why these sorts of this sort of work is important. This is the Woollahra Pine nursery at Mount Annan, and what you see on your right-hand side is a team in Atlanta, Georgia, preparing Woollahra pines that have just come in through the airport. We're sending little six-packs, if you like, of Woollahras all around the world so that maybe they'll become the next weed, who knows? I'm not... But trying to get those, using the Botanic Gardens networks to do what we call meta collections, so that there's whatever happens in the future, we have resilient, genetically diverse populations of the Woollahra pine all growing in Botanic Gardens all around the world, rather than just propagating the same one individual over and over again and really not creating anything that's of value there. So a lot of work's gone into that. And I suppose I want to finish up with just a couple of comments about the struggle that we have as people who care about trees and about plants. Is often they're just seen as greenwash, and it's often really, really hard from the point of view of people who work in this field, in this area, in Botanic Gardens, to get people to care about plants. If I next slide's probably a good one. If I put up shots wherever I am giving a talk with a cute and cuddly or something unique in terms of fauna, people straight away understand why the environment's important, why we should protect what we're doing. But if I just talk about plants and go, it's a really struggle that way. And one of the things we have to do is overcome what we call this curious case of plant blindness. That plants aren't just there as the nice green background for when you take your photo of a cute and cuddly, but they are fundamental. You can see, obviously, none of those creatures will exist without the presence of plants. We won't exist without the presence of plants. And anything that raises the value and recognition of trees, plants, and their contribution to the environment, I think really is such an important thing to do. And yeah, no, that's perfect. and one of the things we're really trying to do is whenever we're doing whether it's reintroductions back into the wild, restoration, is to involve students and to involve kids, because, you know, honestly, they are the best, our best advocate. There's nothing more fierce than a 10-year-old who goes home after one of our education programs and has been completely brainwashed about the importance of sustainability, the importance of plants, the importance of the environment. They're the fiercest advocates, and that's what we really should be focusing on. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Brett. That was absolutely wonderful, and of course an amazing takeaway. No plants equals no future, and that's what we all need to be spreading. We are all convinced in this room, but we need to spread this information beyond this room to neighbours, friends, everyone. No plants equals no future. So that was I have many takeaways, but that was one.